Welcome back to Club News. As you know, one of the most important investments any of us will ever make is our superannuation. But for a lot of Australians, it's a case of out of sight, out of mind, with too many people failing to get the best out of their super by not taking action when it's needed. If that sounds like you, you're not alone, and it may be easier for you to get back on track than you think. Club Plus Super is our own industry super fund, and Stefan Strano is the head of marketing, brand and strategy for Club Plus Super, and he's been good enough to join us on Club News. Hi, Stefan.
Hi, Ben.
Can you start off by telling us about the services that you provide?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, next year we'll mark our 30th anniversary at Club Plus Super, and it was brought about in 1987 to be to bring superannuation to the club industry, to the staff of clubs. And today, with 90,000 members, we're an open fund. We can stay with, the members can keep us even if they leave the industry. We manage around 2.2 billion on their behalf. But we do a lot more than, our focus is absolutely great value super for the club industry, but there's insurance in there, there's income protection, we have an allocated pension, so income streams in retirement, and we offer personal advice through Club Plus Financial Planning, and we're growing a member service team to support people through all those challenging aspects of all those things.
Okay, now superannuation has been in the news a lot lately. What's been happening with super?
Yeah, absolutely. The news most recently have been around the government changes, but I'll go through them. But to have some context around that's probably helpful. Super is going to be in the news a lot in the years to come, if you ask me, and it's for three very important reasons. It is a huge amount of money at the moment. It's growing rapidly, and it is actually extremely important. So we actually have just crossed over $2.1 trillion in the Australian superannuation system. It makes it one of the biggest in the world. And according to a recent global pension index survey, the Melbourne Mercer survey, we're ranked in the top three as well, the third actually only behind the Danish and the Dutch, I think, as one of the best superannuation or pension systems in the world. That's fantastic, but the huge amount of money means that it's not only very relevant for government taxation revenue, but it's also a big driver of investment markets, a big driver of the economy, and it is going to be in the news a lot for one other very important reason, and that is it still needs to do more. We have a lot of people coming into retirement stage wanting to retire, but we're living longer as a population, which is great news, but we need the money to make sure we live at the lifestyle we need. So we at the moment put 9.5% into super, but a lot of the people that I see in the industry think that should be closer to 15% to really meet that income need later on. These types of issues will mean super is discussed a lot for years to come.
Now, what are some of the major changes that have been announced?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to try and do this in plain English, okay? So
Sure.
Our industry has developed a language of its own. There's a lot of jargon, concessional caps and non-concessional caps. Money that goes into super either comes out of your pre-tax income or after tax. So on the pre-tax side, that's the concessional side, at the moment you can put up to $30,000 in or $35,000 a year if you're over 50. They're changing that to be $25,000 as a limit as of mid next year. However, it's not all bad news because they're also introducing a 5-year carry rule, which basically means you can, if you don't use your 25k in 1 year, and the following year you get into a bit more money, you can actually bring that credit forward, if you like, and you put more in that calendar year, or that financial year. So that change is significant. There's some other changes. After tax changes, the big one there is that at the moment you can put up to $180,000 and you can again take 3 years worth and put it in 1 year, so $540,000 can go into from after tax money can go into super if you sell a house or have an inheritance or something like that. But the change will mean that only up to $100,000 can be put in 1 year. Between 2 and 3 year period you can put up $300,000 in. A lot of it will depend on your balance and your income. A lot of these changes will take that into account. And a big change in the pension side of things, if you're in that space, is that you used to be able to take as much money from super to pension phase as you like, but a new rule will be that 1.6 million will be the limit. So there are some positives in the changes as well in the detail, but really they relate to individual specific circumstances. And what's important here is to ensure that if there is a transition to the retirement strategy in place or a tax strategy that you have in place, that now's the time. We have people on the road that are very able to support our members with this or any of their friends and families. And financial planning is there as well through Club Plus Financial Planning. If you need a strategy set or need to revise it, now's the time before those changes begin in July next year. They were just passed by Parliament. They came about in the recent budget, but now it's time to take action, I think, for people.
Okay. Now, what's the benefit of having a super fund dedicated to our industry?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good question at the moment, and it's being discussed a lot within the industry. The Productivity Commission's been talking about default super, and we think the 30 years of history we have with the club industry mean that we've really gotten to know the types of businesses that we support, the types of staff they have, and our product and service was designed for them and with them in mind. So to give you an example, our insurance program, now every default superannuation fund, MySuper, must offer insurance, but what they cover you for, the level of cover, the terms and conditions when you go to claim will differ between funds. We've had all those years of experience in supporting the staff and the members from the industry, and we know the type of things that can come up, and we've strengthened our product around that space to be the best possible support it can be, and we're still working on it. It never sort of ends. For example, we have income protection as an automatic cover, so when you join Club Plus Super as an industry member, you're covered for up to 90% of your salary for up to 2 years, and it kicks in very quickly, only after 3 weeks. That was important for people that, if something bad were to happen and they were out of work, their income would continue, and that's a really big deal. So that's something that we think is very important.
Okay, now how's 2016 been for Club Plus Super?
It's been an exciting year for us. A lot of change, a lot of development internally as well, which has been fantastic. I think the growth of the member servicing area has been really significant for us. We brought 6 new people in-house to be on our phones to service members and on the emails and web chats and things like that. And from a marketing perspective, it's been quite exciting. We've done interactive statements, for example, to tell people how they're tracking. And we can, in the same day, we can send out statements. We can watch as they open them on the train and their mobiles, probably. And where the lights start to come on and people start to ring through, if there are any issues, we could quickly adapt to that and start to make changes to the website or the process to make the member experience as good as it could be. So we're learning even more about the membership this way, and it's really fulfilling to see those changes have an impact to the membership, And on the investment side as well, I should say, we've made some significant enhancements. We've developed an internal investment team headed by Gemma Dooley, our head of investments, and starting to build an internal team there. We've had a new financial controller, a few more people come on board, and it's really about the efficiencies of how we do the operational side of things, the risk-focused culture we have that is ensuring our members get the very best returns in the future and setting us up for things like daily unit pricing next year, which should be a good one.
All right, well, lots to look forward to in 2017. Thanks for joining us on Club News.
Thanks very much.
And that's all we have time for on Club News for 2016. We'll be back next year. Have a great Christmas and New Year. I'm Ben Rossley. See you in 2017.